been sorting some cupboards out and I've just found this. Now, we haven't unwrapped some of our stuff for 5 years or so. Some of the original stuff that came here has just been stored, and I've just found this buried under a big pile of craft stuff. So I'm going to open it up for the camera because I can't even remember what's in it. It could be something interesting. I tend to think because of the wrapping it's either going to be pictures or a mirror or something like that, but we shall see. It's very well wrapped and it's got a bubble wrap as well. Obviously it says it's fragile. It's going to be something I've forgotten I've even had. Hey. Right. Let's see what we've got. Right, firstly we've got a blank canvas, which has obviously been packed with it. That's just for my craft stuff, for my artworks. But, oh, I think it's all coming back to me now. This picture here. Ah, this one. Yes, I haven't seen that for years. So we're going to have to find some homes for some of these things. Right, place that somewhere safe. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, it's another one along the same lines. These are actually really lovely pictures. I'm not sure who the artist is. I just love the little dog. Bit more modern than some of our pictures. Oh, and what looks like another blank canvas. Ah, right, that's handy. When I get time to do some painting, I've got some blank canvases. That's brilliant. That was exciting, wasn't it? While we're here, I'll show you something else we came across the other day that we haven't seen for a few years, or a couple of things. Firstly, we've got this, and this is a carved lion's head. We never managed to quite work out what he's for, but he could have had a ring through his mouth or a bar of some description. And he's got a very crude fixing on the back of him, so we think he's probably part of something else. But we actually love him. So he'll be going up somewhere. Another thing we found that we also haven't seen for a long time is this bronze vase. Now, she was bought at the Lille Braderie. We've probably had her at least 20 years, I would think. And she's signed by someone called Guy. Yeah, gy.p. So I'm not quite sure who the artist is, but we just loved her when we bought her. We did pay quite a good price for her, as she's solid bronze. I think we probably paid somewhere in the region of about £180, but we thought it was worth it because she's lovely. Right, Tony's out in the back garden doing even more gardening clearance. He's built us a wigwam. I think he's probably going to burn it down later. Bit grey today. But yeah, we are in the middle of November. And Tony's working away in the background, but he's just told me that he's going to cut down one of these trees at the back here. So that's why I've come out to film it. I'm not talking about that huge one. That's a job for the professionals. Yeah, I think he might have been an air cadet actually. I'll have to ask him. Don't know how many bonfires they built in the air cadets, but seems to know what he's doing. Either that or he's built a big den. Very tall straight tree there is the one that Tony's going to chop down in a moment. Yes. Might not look super big, but it's still fairly heavy. I'm going to be getting out of the way. You see my gate still in the corner there? We haven't managed to get it out just yet. It's sort of trapped, but we will see. I'm standing to one side of this. Going! Oh, it wobbled. There it goes! Whoa! Oh, you forgot to say timber!
A few fires there.
Oh, and a few fires, yeah. I'm just saying, were you a Boy Scout? Was you in the Boy Scouts?
In the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, was it the Air Corps or something?
Scouts, yeah.
Air Scouts?
Yeah.
Did they teach you how to build bonfires in the Air Scouts?
Yeah.
It looks quite professional looking, Tone. It's definitely a lot bigger than my bonfire.
Yeah.
How tall is that tree?
20 foot.
It's at least 20 foot, isn't it? Yeah. And it was quite heavy. Did you hear it go bang? Right. Can I get over there? I'm not walking along there. You know me, I'm bloody accident prone. I shall slip because there's slippery leaves. I'll only get wet. Yeah, thanks a lot, Tone. I could try going this side. Although that's a bit of an obstacle course, but I'm going to try. Is it something worth me going over there for? It's a hole in the ground. Oh, hang on. Oh, ouch. There's a lot of things to trip over though, Tone. Yeah, there's no other way of getting there, is there? Oh, I found a bottle. Did you find that? Yeah. Have you put it on there?
Yeah.
Is it just a wine bottle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Just a bit worried I'm going to get stuck on these railings. It's all safe to tread on.
Yeah.
Hey, just going to jump. Hey. Oh.
The hole on that side as well, look.
Oh. What we can see is another wall. That's not stone though, is it?
No, it is. It's the same height as our wall next door.
I'm trying to film it, but I obviously don't want to lose my camera down there. Well, it could be stone, couldn't it? Can't really see it very well. Ooh. I've never stood at this part of the garden. Look, we get a good view of the church from here, and even the little stone bridge across the river there. Just a shame we can't peek at the chateau. It's just behind those trees there, next to the church.
Are we having
Right.
these out?
Are we having what?
These out.
Yeah, they can come out. They will grow back a little bit. These here, right on the wall of the river. These are hazel tone.
Oh, yeah.
So you see that bit you're hanging on to? That's where someone's probably chopped it back before. They put these new ones up each year. But yeah, give it a good haircut because it's quite big. And it will grow back. Right. Ooh.
Oh, I'm going to carry on.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot lower down there, isn't it? I find that strange. Why would it be at this point of the river? Yeah. There's something big making ripples in the river over there. It's a big circle. Can't see. It's quite clear. Can't see anything moving though. So peaceful out here. It's lovely. And that it might be box, something like that. It's got very small leaves. Oh, I can see my gate from the other side now. Yes, it's got some very rotten bits on it, but and look at that ivy. It looks like it's grabbed a hand around it. Not sure if we're going to get it out at the bottom because this seems to be growing in the middle of this tree stump. Whoops, nearly fell down the hole then. Oh, there's a big hole. Right. Oh, I'm hugging a tree. Only so that I don't fall in this big pit. Ah. Now, see my poor gate is mangled up. And all these pieces of tree that have grown in between it. I'm going to have to cut quite a bit back to get it out. See this? It's sort of wedged. Yeah. Look at this piece of tree on this wire. It looks like it's eaten the wire. It looks like it's taken a big bite out of the wire. Obviously Tan's cut it off either side. That's weird. You can see this a bit clearer now. See the lovely green glass on it. See what we can do with that. Some more logs for the fire anyway, that big tree. I've just found something. Now, it's obviously not fresh today. Oh, wow. It actually looks as if it's probably edible, but I don't know. And something else has had a go at it. I don't know if that's edible. Tony's just come back from the chemist. I could have got him to take it over there and get him to identify it. It's just the one at the bottom of one of the horse chestnut trees. Yeah, I've not seen anything like this growing here before. But yeah, it's definitely mushroom season. It would be lovely if we could have homegrown mushrooms. I'm going to have a look around and see if I can see any more now. We're at the back of the side barn here. And we've got several huge chestnut trees which have just lost all their leaves. For some unknown reason, we have a piece of train track between these two trees. It's got a huge big wire attached to it as well. So I think at some point somebody's making themselves a swing. I think it's been there for a long time, and where they would find a piece of train track around here, I have no idea. But it's not every day you see a train track in a tree. And yeah, these look as if they could do some damage to your eye as well. So yeah, we'll have to remove those. Anyway, I was looking to see if there's any more mushrooms, but all I can see is lots of leaves. Also, I can see a lot of these leaves here. Well, these are good. I know what these are. These are wild strawberries. And they come up everywhere. And they're very, very tiny, but they're very, very tasty. So we should still get a nice feed of those. Maybe that's usually around May time, I think. So yeah, they're looking very healthy. You also get these, quite a lot of these. Now this is an iris, but it's a wild one. No one's planted these, they've seeded themselves, and as you can see there's quite a few of them popping up all over the place. And what I might do, if Tony's going to clear the whole ground, is to dig a few of these up and put them in a pot. Then we can replant them in little bunches where we want them. Because they're all over and they're very pretty. And they're for nothing. Right, can't see any more mushrooms. So I've not been around here for a little while. There's a couple of things I'll show you in here actually, which I've not mentioned before. Firstly, it's this ugly looking thing. You see these all over the place in France. This is a concrete version. I've seen older ones. This is a concrete version that's been made. So do you know what this is for? 6 compartments. This would actually have been for breeding rabbits or raising rabbits for food. I would think probably, it's probably at least a wartime thing. Perhaps, well, they probably would have done it earlier as well, but I think it's obviously become very popular during the war when food was scarce. Just trying to see if there's anything interesting. There's some bolts and big old hinge there. Looks like the handle of it is. No, it's another hinge. There's 2 great big hinges there. Now, in the wall here, I've just noticed that at some point there would have been stone coming this way. So again, possibly another lean-to, wood store, who knows. The other thing that I haven't shown you around this side is over here. Well, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that we haven't shown you around this side. Now this mess here, it's partly a stone wall over that side and along the river. This bit here has been added, not quite sure, but it was an animal enclosure and it did have timbers over. But when a huge branch here broke off of this chestnut tree and fell into the river, it destroyed our railings, and there was a beautiful stone pillar. You can see the pointy top piece, which got knocked down by the tree falling in the river. So there's some lovely lumps of stone here which we'll probably use around the garden. But yeah, that was some sort of animal enclosure where they kept birds, some sort of aviary, I think. And then over here in this corner we have this, which may be a kennel. Would have been quite a big dog, I think, because it's almost like a stable in there. I'm not going to go in too much. It's dark anyway, so you won't be able to see much. There is a tiny viewing hole between here and the main part of the barn. It's actually got like a stable door, so I was presuming it probably would have had another one at the bottom. But if you're a bit squeamish, I would look away now, because I'm going to show you something else which isn't very nice, and it's a collection of trophies. These are wild boar's feet. And this is where they go hunting a lot in the local woods. There are a lot of them. They're not endangered in any way, and they do hunt them to eat. But that's pretty gruesome, isn't it? And they've nailed them up there like a trophy. And then one other thing now. I showed you the picture of the little sorceress on my last video. This area, the Berry region, is actually well renowned for witchcraft, sorcery. There's even a little museum which I do intend to go to one day. But this up here smacks a little bit of, yeah, there's little symbols, there's things around the houses in the area that you see. Now there's one on the front of this barn as well, I'll show you that in a moment. But we have this triangle thing up here. It looks like something was hung from it. It could well be something to do with this. But why would you put that into the wall like that? And something big was caged up in here. Probably the Hound of the Baskervilles, I would think. Yeah, and there's two great big bolt holes for the door. Anyway, I'll take you around the front part of this barn and point out to you the other piece. I love these doors. Let's put the mushroom down for a minute. I shall take that and show Tony. Oh, now I love wear and tear on these stone steps. Look at the size of that on one side, and where people have gone in and out over the years. It's worn that stone step down that much. That's incredible. Right. Oh yeah, there's some cages and things here as well. They obviously bred different types of birds. You can't really see, it's a bit too dark, but there's a doorway on there with mesh. So I think they must have had birds in the top part of this barn. I wouldn't know what type of birds. Quite small ones, I would hope, from looking at that. And we've got lots of bits of old doors and things lying about. There's a bit of a dumping ground in here, I'm afraid. And this is part of the railings from when the tree knocked them down. And back round the front of the side barn. Now, I showed you that structure on the back by the bread oven house, and this, what we have here, is something similar. It's a big square structure for who knows what reason. It's attached on the side of the barn here, but then, I don't know if I can reach over this one to film it without dropping my camera. Let's try. But again, it's completely hollow. Trying to see what the construction is. It doesn't look like stone, but then it doesn't look very new either. It's totally overgrown with this ivy. But what could it be for? Just a big square box for who knows what. Anyway, the other thing I brought you around here to show you is this doorway here. Again, it's got this triangular entranceway over the top of it. From what you can see, this is very old. Obviously it's been blocked up many years ago. But yeah, it's very strange. You can't see the other part, but it does make a triangle on the top of the doorway. Is this some sort of building technique that I'm not familiar with? Because it's not something I've seen very often. I've seen archways. But yeah. There's a huge great hook over the top of there for something as well. think this leaf litter here is built up over the years, because I think it would have been a lot taller than that, because I'm standing above, my head is above the height of that lintel, so I'd have to duck to get in there at this height. But yeah, that structure there, from this side I can see it's not actually attached to the building there. There's a big gap. So it wasn't built at the same time as the barn. Well, what could that be for? Maybe one day we'll find out. But this is a huge courtyard here. We're not quite sure what to do with this end barn. We might convert it into living accommodation, and in which case this could be parking. Well, because we would put another garden area out the back if we did that. But that's going to be a long way off. Let's go and show Tony this mushroom, see if he fancies having it for his tea. No, I am joking. Not without identifying that. Oh, yeah, this is the little peephole that peeps through into the stable-like area. Yeah, some big animal would have, or animals would have lived in there. I don't know if you can see very well, it's not very bright. So, I need one single mushroom. So even if it is edible, we're not going to get fat on that, are we? And over this side of the garden, we have another step down. It's got a little gate thingy across it at the moment. But we have another set of steps covered in leaves, you can't really see. But then you can see there's a platform down there and steps right down to the water's edge. And this is, in the old days, they probably would have done their washing in there. We've been in the next door house. The lady over there showed us around and invited us over for apéro, which was lovely. And she's got a beautiful lavabo. So maybe when we're out of lockdown, I might ask her if I can film at least in the garden. And it has a covered, purpose-built lavabo. And it's very, very pretty. But yeah, they would have all done their washing in here. Yucky. Oh, now it doesn't look the same. Actually, it looks nothing. Here we are, I'll show you. It looks nothing like it. That one, it's actually got like a purpley tinge, and there's another one hiding in the back of those branches. I'm going to lift it out. Yeah, that is totally different. Oh, it's even blue. Then I know there are some blue mushrooms that you can eat as well if you know how to identify them. But I don't. So see how different they are, the different colours, different size stem, and obviously different on the top as well. I'm going to make sure I wash my hands, so don't tell me off. I'm going to show Tony this one. Well, actually I can show him both, can't I? Right, but I've never tried it before, but I would actually like to try and set up a mushroom bed, because I know you can buy the mushroom spawn online, so it might be worth a try over here, because it's obviously a good place for them. So yeah, in this part of the garden maybe might be interesting. Oh, there's a wall of trees. Not sure which way to go. Let's go through here. Huh. Tone. Oh, we still can't hear me. He's got his earphones in. What? Ah. I've seen these here before, and I don't know if they're edible, but you can get some blue ones. I think they're called bluets. But obviously I don't know. But this one looks like a normal mushroom, doesn't it? Something's had a bite of it anyway. Look, there's a few bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, That looks very promising, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But we're not going to eat it, are we? Not today. No, we'll get it identified. If we find another one, come and see if there's a fresh one in the morning. And if so, we'll have to take it over to the chemist and see. But there's only one, so we'd have to share it. Well, unless, of course, we can eat these as well.
Yes.
Then we can have one each. Another bonfire tonight or not?
No.
No, you don't want to set light to this one, do you? Proud of this one. Oh look, Tony, you found a bird's nest.
Yes.
It's used pieces of plastic to make its bird's nest, look. That's a bit of a worry, isn't it? Little pieces of plastic. It's been there for a while though. This is my grapevine. And now Tony's pulled it all out of the ivy. We should hopefully get some nice grapes this year. Or next year. There were grapes on it this time, but we couldn't see them through the ivy. And yeah, they were too far gone by the time we got to come over. I wonder what sort of bird's nest that is. It's quite big. Nothing in it, no eggs, no big shells, nothing like that. It's quite big though, I know it's crammed in there. Tonight for our dinner I'm going to make a tartiflette, so I thought I'd film it so that you can have a go. Another French recipe. And for this we need potatoes, lardons, onions, tartiflette cheese, which is usually reblochon. Obviously in France it just says cheese for tartiflette. You can use different types of cheese. You can use a very ripe brie or camembert would be good for this. Any melty cheese. Fontina perhaps, or Gruyere. That melts and goes quite gooey. So if you can't get the reblochon, choose a melty cheese that you perhaps would bake in the oven. Okay, we're going to need some butter, about 3 tablespoons of butter. I've got some minced up garlic, a teaspoon of minced up garlic. I've got some seasonings and some white wine. And this is going to be cooked in the oven but assembled, partly cooked on the top and then cooked in the oven. I'm going to make it in an oven-proof dish. Obviously you can double these quantities up for 4 or 5 people, I would say. Okay, so we're very lucky over here in France that they do these ready-cooked potatoes, which are actually pretty good. I'm not a lover of tinned potatoes, but these ones in the shrink wrap pack that they do here are pretty good, especially for something like this where you're going to recook them. Obviously if you don't have something like this, you're going to have to cook your own potatoes or use some leftover potatoes. But this is a brilliant dish for leftovers. So if you've got leftover potatoes, bacon, lardons, ham, anything like that, you can utilise. You don't even have to put those in if you don't have those in, but you can add whatever you like in that respect. Onions and garlic is pretty much the norm. Sometimes I will put some spring onions or scallions in it instead, or for a bit of colour. And then your cheese, your reblochon cheese. Okay, so what we're going to start is by cooking the lardons along with the onions. So I'm now going to chop the onions and I'll come back to you when I'm ready to start cooking. And I'm going to put the lardons. Now I've got 200 grams of lardons. I would say probably for the two of us, probably around 150 grams, but that's what's in the packet, so I think you could probably make a 200 gram packet stretch to 4 people. Depends on the amount of potatoes you use. And they are going to cook down a bit because the fat's going to melt. Okay. Right, I'll put that on a medium heat and then I'm going to add the onions to that and we're going to cook them gently. And keep stirring them around occasionally. So, and into that we're going to add a tablespoon or thereabouts of butter. This is why you don't want it too hot because you don't want to burn the butter. once the fat renders slightly from the lardons, that will help to stop the butter burning. That's more for flavour. I'm using 500 grams of potatoes for 2 of us, which is a little bit more than a pound of potatoes, and this is obviously cooked and peeled. So probably I would estimate half a pound of potatoes per person, or slightly more, depends on your appetite. Yeah, so as I say, we're going to cut these into sort of cubes, not quite, and fairly small, so they're fork sized. Now while I'm doing this, I've been asked a few times now, a previous video that we did regarding the Combine Harvester, quite a few people, although I've answered in the comments, quite a few people keep asking what was the outcome of that. Well, we asked around, we asked everybody that we knew in town, and nobody knew who it belonged to. So then I went to the insurance office, and they said they couldn't do anything without knowing who it belonged to. If you saw the video, you'll see that it didn't have a number plate on the front of it, which it is apparently it's supposed to be on the road. But the long and the short of it is that nobody knows, and even the mayor didn't know. I managed to speak to somebody in the mayor's office, and bearing in mind they don't speak any English, that was quite difficult. But they had to pay for the road repairs, the street furniture to be repaired at the cost of the town, so no one unfortunately has managed to claim any money for the repairs. On the other hand, we have had a quote to do the works, and we already knew that we would have to do some work to it anyway, so it's not as desperately bad as we thought it might be. So the work will be going ahead shortly to make it safe, and that's really is the end of the story. There's nothing more we can do. The gendarmes didn't attend because it was there for about 20 minutes holding traffic up, but then it managed to free itself and off it went. So that's the end of the story, I'm afraid, on that one. But yeah, obviously our friend who filmed it didn't realise at the time the damage that it had caused. Otherwise she would have got the driver's details on the day. But bless her, she didn't know that it was actually doing any damage to our property. Right. I think I might need to turn my pan up, it's not doing a lot. So what we do is we gently cook these until we get start getting a little bit of colour, and then we're going to add some wine. Now we want 4 fluid ounces of wine. Let's find my measuring jug. Pretty much a good splash will do if you don't have a measuring jug. Just adds to the flavour. And today we've got a bottle open already. It's not an expensive wine, it's a sort of middle of the range, although it's won a medal. Look, very tasty. Chateau de la Melonier. Chateau de la Melonier. Grow plants to pay Nantes. Now this has come from the same place as the biscuit tin did, Nantes. Now, into your bowl before you layer this up, I'm actually going to add garlic in. We're in lockdown at the moment. Both myself and Tony love garlic, so we're going to put garlic in. You could do just cut a garlic clove and wipe it around the bowl, a bit like you do with the potato dauphinoise. Or you could not use any garlic at all if you're not keen on it. Now these lardons that we're cooking, if you can't get lardons, I understand in the US they have a problem. But you could use, again, maybe a smoked ham, or a dried ham even. You know, it's not cut and dried what ingredients you need to add into this. The main recipe is the potatoes and the cheese. If you wanted to add something else in, like mushrooms or something, I'm sure the tartiflette police won't be on your doorstep. Right, it's just beginning to soften. We just want it to brown slightly, and I'll come back to you when that's done. I've forgotten one of my ingredients, so I shall be back shortly. Right, I'm back, and this is the ingredient I forgot, which is cream. This one is a thick cream. I'm just using up some that I've got left over, but you would say use a whipping cream, pouring consistency. So anyway, and I've got just about enough in there. It says 4 fluid ounces. Just cooking these. Also, that's probably a good cupful. If you want to measure it, 4 fluid ounces, or about 100 ml. But yeah, so now you want to gently poach those in the wine until the wine is almost evaporated. I'm standing here because it's not going to take long for it to evaporate. I don't want it to burn or stick to the bottom of the pan, so I'm just moving it gently while it cooks through and evaporates. Almost there. Something. I mean, if you don't want to put wine in it, you don't have to. You could probably use a gentle vegetable stock, or probably just even a drop of water. But the wine obviously adds an extra flavour to it. But some people I know can't have wine. Let that melt. I'm going to cook the potatoes. Now, as you can see, I'm in the middle of trying to slice the cheese up here. Well, this is what we want to see. A little bit of browning on some of the potatoes. But yeah, French sauté potatoes. Not a very French thing. Spread them out. That's it. Oh, it's bubbling away. Yes, it's browning off. What I'm going to do is just turn the top oven, which is like a grill on this oven here. So you can either put it under flash it under a grill, brown the top off, or I've just turned on the top part of the oven. Just turn it up high for a couple of minutes and that will brown the top off. Now I've just picked up the lovely bread that I said we're going to have with it, which it is lovely. But I think we might have a big mouse, because there's a piece missing off the end, although I think maybe that might be Tony where he's waiting for his dinner. You remember this, kids, in the supermarket? Right. And there we have it. That's just browned the top off a little bit. And I'm going to dish that up, make a side salad. And it smells marvellous, as I was expecting it would do. all oozy and unctuous and melty and gorgeous. And I can't wait to dive in. So bye for now.